the town of Farmingdale is under Zeds' attack. Ferocious Zeds have come in through the suburbs, the forest, and the highway, and been stopped for now. The National Guard has appeared in the mountain track, and a huge explosion at the mine has halted the advance of a powerful Zeds mob, giving the National Guard enough time to push them out of Lefty's Pass. But with almost no ammo left, what will happen to the people of Farmingdale? Where are they all coming from? To the 4R phase. And the Raiders, at half strength, may actually do us a favor. They move in to the suspension bridge to attack the Zeds there. The Zeds have an advantage, and they wipe out what's left of the Raiders. The Zeds are still there, and the infection level increases to 5. The Rangers in downtown stay put for now. No infection check. To the Eat phase, and we have no refugees in the camp, and no one in the hospital. So no supplies are lost. And now all Zeds on all tracks move. But first, a new Zeds appears in each village that is Zeds control. In the suburbs, a 9-strength Zeds unit appears at East Irek. And at Beauville, a Zeds unit with a strength of 6. In the highway, a Zeds unit appears with a strength of 5 at the village of Ingeborg. And in St. Thomas, on the forest track, a new Zeds unit with a strength of 7 appears. All hits are now removed from Zeds units, and the unit in the suspension bridge is at full strength now, as well as one of the units in the mob facing downtown. And now, all Zeds move. In the mountain track, the Zeds mob with the tough Zeds falls upon Lefty's Pass. The National Guard has the advantage, but this time the Zeds win. The National Guard suffers 3 hits, and now we play Grim Determination at Last Stand, which allows us to change the result to 1 hit to the attacking Zeds, and the Zeds retreat. So instead of defeat, one of the Zeds units takes a hit, and they fall back to where they started from. And the infection level creeps up to 6. With the defeat and retreat of the Zeds mob on the mountain track, the 2 strength reduced Zeds in the start space can't move forward. To the highway track, the leading Zeds mob, with a strength of 10, falls upon downtown. And Colonel Kingman is called once again to lay down his defensive perimeter to see if these Zeds can be pushed back. The perimeter fails in stopping these Zeds, and the Rangers will do the fighting. They have a 1-column shift to the right in hand-to-hand combat, which gives us the advantage. The Zeds suffer 2 hits and retreat. We suffer 1 more hit, and the Rangers are now at half strength. But this attack is thwarted once again. The infection level is now at 7. The Zeds unit following behind the Zeds mob cannot move forward. And the last unit on the track advances towards town center. In the suburbs, the stubborn Zeds at the suspension bridge advance once again into suburbia. Colonel Kingman, with his defensive perimeter ability, will try to push them back. This time, he's successful. The Zeds return to the suspension bridge. The rest of the Zeds in the suburbs advance, and soon we'll have a Zeds mob in the suspension bridge. And now, on to the forest track. The Zed he-moths are stuck in the farm, not able to advance because of the 2 Zeds mobs in front of them. And the weakest one attacks the mall district once again. Colonel Kingman is called again. He lays his defensive perimeter, and it fails in stopping the Zeds, who now attack the fire department auxiliaries. With their fire axe train ability, they have a column shift to the right, and the humans have an overwhelming advantage in this combat. The Zeds suffer 3 hits and must retreat, clogging up the way for a more powerful Zeds mob right behind. And the infection level is now at 8. The powerful Zeds mob behind has to stay put, as well as the Zed he-moths at the farm. The next Zeds unit, however, moves forward, and together with the Zeds he-moths forms a 3rd Zeds mob on the forest track. To the action phase, we only have 1 event action, and with 1 point of ammo, we gotta get some ammo quick. The event action is wasted on a group of civilians that fail to forage any at the Lucky Strike mine. We better come up with another plan. If only Mr. Johnson could reach the Lucky Strike mine. With his scavenger ability, he rolls 2 dice when foraging, so he could get 2 points of ammo each time. But a powerful Zeds mob stands between Johnson and the mine. We must find someone who can push those Zeds back and open a path for Mr. Johnson. But who could that be? El Toro Loco. His Bull's Charge ability allows him, when he launches a hand-to-hand attack, to, with certain luck, retreat a whole Zeds mob instead of engaging it in combat. So he just may be able to pull this off. And perhaps it is worth giving him a little pep talk. Oye, Toro.
¿Qué pasa, jefecito?
¿Ves esos zombies ahí al frente?
Pues seguro, hombre.
Es importante que te lances sobre ellos y los alejes del pueblito para que Johnson pueda llegar aquí y buscar más municiones. ¿Comprendes, Torito? ¡Claro que sí, jefe! ¿Crees que puedes hacerlo? ¿O acaso le tienes miedo a esos zombies?
Who you trying to get crazy with, ese? Don't you know I'm loco?
And we use our player action to move El Toro Loco through the Lucky Strike Mine and Lefty's Pass to fall upon the Zeds mob. And he will use his Bull's Charge ability to try to push him back without having to engage in hand-to-hand combat. He needs 4 or more. But the roll is a 1, and he'll engage the mob in hand-to-hand combat. The Zeds have a ×2 advantage. Toro Loco suffers 3 hits, and he's down. He's at the mercy of a good saving roll. And luckily, he's found at the hospital, unconscious. So much for the pep talk. The infection level jumps now to 10. Del Toro Loco's mission ending in failure, we must search for ammunition somewhere else. Sheriff Hunt's leadership ability is combined with Major Hernandez's keys to the city ability to give the civilians at Town Center a +1 die roll modifier while foraging, and they succeed in gaining 1 point of supplies, and the level is now at 4. Deputy Schmidt uses his initiative ability, together with Hernandez's keys to the city, to try to forage for some ammo downtown. The roll is a 4 modified to a 5, and at least Schmidt obtains another point of supplies, and the level is now at 5. Meanwhile, the Savior Corps uses its Field Med Station ability to heal the Rangers, who are flipped to their full strength side, although with 1 hit. The Zeds continue to concentrate their forces near the town of Farmingdale. With almost no ammunition left, it seems that the only thing we can do is wait for the Zeds to close in and hope for the best. Brains, another all-out Zeds offensive. First, the infection level is increased by 2. It jumps to 12. 1 more, and we'll have an uncontrolled outbreak. All Zeds now advance, and if victorious in hand-to-hand combat, they continue moving forward, fighting. And those Zeds that are next to the town, if they do win and advance, it'll be the end of Farmingdale. This is the moment to stop the Zeds on all fronts. First, the Zeds mob on the mountain track falls on Lefty's Pass and the National Guard. We have the advantage. And the Guardsmen inflict 2 hits on the Zeds, eliminating one of their units. But they suffer 1 hit. And the infection level increases to 13. We have an uncontrolled outbreak. This time, it'll occur on the highway. A new Super Zed appears at the nuclear plant. A leaper. These creatures ignore barricades as well as terrain shifts in our favor. They practically fall upon us from the sky. The infection level now drops to 6. And the remaining Zed unit on the mountain track joins the tough Zeds, and they form another Zeds mob. And we save for later this sturdy vehicles commandeered card, which gives 3 additional movement points to one of our heroes during a move action. Now to the Zeds offensive on the highway track. The mob in front of downtown attacks. Colonel Kingman prepares his defensive perimeter ability, but before that, we play, yeah, they fell for it this time, allowing us to cancel a Zed's entire activation. We roll to see if we keep the card. We don't. A one-time use. And the Zeds mob returns from where it started, and it can remove 1 hit point. The Leapers cannot advance, but the Zeds behind can, and with the Leapers they form a new Zeds mob. And finally, the last group of Zeds on the highway advances. In the suburbs, the stubborn Zeds at the suspension bridge attack one more time. Colonel Kingman again deploys his defensive perimeter to see if he'll push him back. This time, he fails, and the Zeds will fight it out with the civilians, and if the Zeds win, it'll be the end of Farmingdale. Although we have the advantage, both sides suffer 2 hits and the Zeds must retreat back to the suspension bridge, and the civilians are reduced. The remaining Zeds in the suburbs track advance, and we have a mob on the bridge. And a very strong Zeds unit at Beauville, not far behind. On to the forest track, and the forwardmost Zeds mob, which has been battered and battered, attacks the mall district once again. Colonel Kingman will try to push them back, but the defensive perimeter fails, and they'll fight it out with the fire department auxiliaries, who use their fire axe trained ability to give themselves a definitive advantage. The Zeds suffer 3 hits and are wiped out, and that would seem like a good thing, but now the path is clear for a powerful Zeds mob to fall upon the mall district soon. The infection level is now at 7. And the 2 remaining Zeds mobs on the forest track advance closer to the mall district, signaling the end of this Zeds offensive. As the offensive ends, our units are still holding, but for how long? Zeds are beginning to concentrate powerful forces around the town. With practically no ammo, this will be a battle of attrition, which the Zeds will surely win, unless something changes. The National Guardsmen are 1 hit away from being reduced, and they cannot leave Lefty's Pass. Keep calm and kill Zeds. And now the Rangers decide to stay defending downtown, and the Guardsmen do the same at Lefty's Pass. The infection level is at 7. A 3. Another outbreak. This time, the outbreak occurs on the highway. A new Zeds unit appears behind the 2 Zeds mobs at the nuclear plant. And now, there are 3 mobs. The infection level drops only 3 levels to 4. Infected vermin appear on the track where there's the most Zeds. The vermin increase the infection level by 1, and they're hard to kill. The track with the most Zeds is not the forest track, but the highway track with 3 Zeds mobs, one behind the other. The vermin appear on the track's start space. Now to the eat phase. No supply points. units are lost. And now the Zeds move on the mountain and highway tracks. The Zeds mob, including the tough Zeds, fall upon Lefty's Pass. The National Guardsmen have a 2x advantage, and they inflict 3 hits on the Zeds. They suffer 1. 1 Zed unit is eliminated. The tough Zeds retreat, but the National Guardsmen are now at reduced strength. The infection level is now at 5. Onto the highway, where 3 Zed mobs are one behind another. The forwardmost moves into downtown. Colonel Kingman will try to push them back with his defensive perimeter. And he is successful this time. So the advancing Zeds mob is pushed back, and none of the other 2 can move forward, buying us some time. Meanwhile, the lagging infected Burmen move forward, and they start to stink up the whole place. Now to the action phase, but before, we can select a hero to receive a 2-column shift to the right if attacking in hand-to-hand combat for this turn. Although the offer is tempting, we will not risk any of our heroes in hand-to-hand combat. Rusty Staub will use his crossbow-armed ability to execute a gunfire attack at no cost in supply points. He fires away at the advancing Zeds mob and fails in causing a single hit. Next, the Rangers, knowing that there's only 1 point of ammo left, decide to use it to break this mob up. The Rangers fire away, and they inflict 3 hits on the mob. 1 of its units is reduced. The Zeds mob has been weakened, and there goes our last point of ammo. Searching for ammo, we use our player actions to forage with the civilians at the Lucky Strike Mine, but they don't find any ammo. Town Center Sheriff Hunt's leadership ability is used for some civilians to forage for ammo, and with the help of Mayor Hernandez's Keys to the City ability, they find some, and now we have 1 point. Deputy Schmidt also searches for ammo with the help of Mayor Hernandez, but no luck this time. And the Savior Corps, with its Field Med Station ability, removes the hit from the Rangers. Supply goes down to 4, as well as the infection level. With time running out, powerful Zeds mobs are at the gates of Farmingdale town. In the forest track, 2 powerful Zeds mobs stand ready to attack the mall district. In the mountain track, the tough Zeds are at full strength and ready to fall upon Lefty's Pass and what's left of the National Guard. In the suburbs, the stubborn Zeds at the suspension bridge have been reinforced. On the highway, 3 Zeds mobs are marching towards downtown. With so many Zeds and just 1 point of ammo, what will be the fate of the people of Farmingdale? Stay tuned for the last episode of Dawn of the Zeds, Apocalypse Level.